What if you're working with a very fuzzy yarn and it's impossible to close your magic circle? It is just too fuzzy and the yarn gets stuck. Well, there's an easy alternative. A magic circle or a magic ring is often called for to start an amigurumi or even a crochet top-down beanie. But if your yarn just doesn't cooperate, we can go back to the very basics and do a slip knot. Now, if you're not sure about doing a slip knot, I like to visual it this way. So I'm going to put my yarn down in front of me, and then I'm going to take this end and I'm going to wrap it up and around my little loop like this, almost forming a letter P right here. I'm going to lift up this part, pull this yarn down under, and then I'm going to pick up the tail and I'm going to put it over and through that loop. So there you can see the slip knot. Now we need to slip our hook in there, tighten it down, and we're ready to go. Once you finish this, you'll be unable to tell the difference between what we've done and a magic ring, especially with this fuzzy yarn. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to chain 1, 2. Okay, now that's kind of hard to see because of the fuzz. So I'm going to feel back down for the first chain that I made. And then I'm going to do a single crochet into that chain. Okay, so now we have this right here. You can see the single crochet right there, but as we make more stitches, this is going to be harder to see. So what we need to do is add a stitch marker to that first single crochet that we made. Okay, now we're ready to go. We can put in the number of stitches that the pattern calls for. A common number to start with is 6 single crochets, so let's go ahead and do that. We have our first one, so this is 2, 3, back in that same single crochet or chain that we started with, 4, 5, I'm feeling for that stitch there, 6. Okay, you can see that we have a circle, beginning of a ring right there, and here's our first stitch. I'm so glad we marked it. So now we can continue on with whatever number of stitches the pattern calls for. Generally, if you do a magic ring or magic circle, whichever you prefer, then what you continue with is increase in each stitch around. So I can say, there's my first one. I knew where to put it because I had that marked with my stitch marker. Now I'm going to put it back in. It's important to use the stitch marker all the way through your project when you're using fuzzy yarn especially. So I can continue with my increases. So there's increase 1, increase 2. Again, you have to feel for those stitches. Increase 3, increase 4, and then continue all the way around until you have the desired number of stitches. That's your alternative to the magic ring.